Canto 7, chapter 8, text. Today is text 53. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Narayanam namaskritya naram cheva narottamam devim saraswatim vyatsa tato jaya mutirayet nastapaye svabhadrisu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttamam sloke bhakti bhavaiti naistiki. So Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 8, Text 53. Title of this chapter is The Lord Slays the King of the Demons. Text 3. Kim Purusa Uchuhu Vayam Kim Purusastvam Tu Mahapurusa Ishvaraha Ayam Kupurusunasto Dikrita Sadubiyada. So, Kim Purusa Uchuhu Vayam Kim Purusastvam Tu Mahapurusa Ishvaraha Ayam Kupurusunasto Dikrita Sadubiyada.
Swayam Kim Purushastvam Tu Mahapurusha Ishvaraha Ayam Kupurusho Nashto Vikruta Sadhviyada.
Also, so we could just go to the translation and text, or someone else wants to try that? Ladies? So we don't want to marginalize ladies, you know?
Shri Kim Purusha Uchuhu. Go ahead. Shri Kim Purusha Uchuhu. Mayam Kim Purusha. Tvam Tu Mahapurusha Ishvara. Ayam Kupurusho Nashto Krita Sadhu Biyada.
Okay, so word for word translation. We're trying to catch up with time, so we don't go into all of the details. So word for word translation and purport by His Divine Grace is Compound Acharya Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada, Kija. Please, word for word translation. Kindly respond and repeat. Kim Purusaha Uchuhu.
Kim Purusha Uchuhu.
The inhabitants of Kim Purusaloka said,
The inhabitants of Kim Purusha Loka said,
Vayam,
We
Kim Purusaha,
Kim Purusha.
the inhabitants of Kim Purusaloka,
The inhabitants of Kim Purusha Loka.
or insignificant living entities. Tvam, your lordship. Tu, however, Mahapurusaha, the supreme personality of Godhead. Ishvaraha, the supreme controller. I am this. Kupurusaha, most sinful person. Hiranyakasipu. Nastaha, slain. Dikritaha, being condemned,
being condemned,
sadubdihi,
sadhuhi,
by the saintly persons.
by the saintly persons.
Yada,
yada,
when.
when.
Translation: the inhabitants of Kim Purusaloka said, "We are insignificant living entities, and you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Supreme Controller. Therefore, how can we offer suitable prayers unto you?" When this demon was condemned by devotees because they were disgusted with him, he was then killed by you. Please kindly respond with repeat. The inhabitants of Kim Purusaloka said,
The
The inhabitants of the Purusaloka said,
"We are insignificant living entities,
we are insignificant living entities,
and you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead,
and you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead,
the Supreme Controller.
the Supreme Controller.
Therefore, how can we offer suitable prayers unto you?"
Therefore, how can we offer suitable prayers unto you?
When this demon was condemned by devotees
This demon was condemned by devotees,
because they were disgusted with him,
because when we discussed it with him,
he was then killed by you.
he was then killed by you.
Purport: because of the Supreme Lord's appearance upon this earth is stated in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, 7 to 8, by the Lord himself. Yada yada hi dharmasya glani bhavati bharat abhyotanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham paritranaya sadhunam vinachaya sadhuskrit dharma sansthapanataya sambhavami yuge yuge. Whenever and wherever there is a decrease in religious principles and a predominant rise in irreligion, at that time I descend myself to deliver the pious and annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re-establish the principles of religion. I advent myself, millennium after millennium. The Lord appears in order to execute two kinds of activities: to kill the demons and to protect the devotees. When the devotees are too disturbed by the demons, the Lord certainly appears in different incarnations to give the devotees protection. The devotees following in the footsteps of Prahlad Maharaj should not be disturbed by the demoniac activities of the non-devotees. Rather, they should stick to their principles as sincere servants of the Lord, and rest assured that the demoniac activities directed against them will not be able to stop their devotional service. Swayam Rupam Karamaya Dadati Swam Padantikam Vanchana Kalpataridyacha Kupasamudaya Patitana Bhavam Vashna Namo Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishna Namaste Sarasate Vani Pacharine Nirvises Sunyavadi Pasha Jayasi Krishna Yadvi Hare Krishna Hare Rama Hare Rama. So in the main text here, the King Purusa, residents of King Purusa Loka, or inhabitants of King Purusa Loka, their prayers is very similar to one of the prayers of Prahlad. When Prahlad was praying, raining all types of eulogies on Lord Sringadev, one of those texts, he said, you are Bhakti Vasudeva, and I am a creeper. I'm a miser. And so here, the Kim Pursa inhabitants, they are also saying, they're eulogizing the Lord. You are so exalted. We are sinful. We are insignificant. We are nothing. So this is the mentality of the devotee. The devotee thinks that he or she is nothing. And the Lord is so great. The Lord is so merciful. The Lord doesn't need to do certain things, but He takes pleasure in doing those things for relieving the devotees from anxieties. He doesn't have a need to come down to kill demons. But the idea of Him coming is to give pleasure to the devotees, to hang out with the devotees, to perform some pastimes so that the devotees can reminisce this when even physically He was. And so, this is very important for us because we understand that the Vani is more important than the Vapu, but then the Lord comes to give the Vapu too. And therefore, the association, the Sadhu Sangha, is very important. I want to bring this whole concept down to our everyday reality. Association with single persons is very important. And just like scientists, remember, I like making a reference to Professor Lewin's, the German psychologist, his theory of the field. He conducted several experiments in the 1930s, 1938 and 1939, and he came up with this theory of the field, which stipulates that the environment impacts on our behavior. And what constitutes the environment? Human beings also constitute the environment. And so whatever that is within the environment impacts on the behavior. Prabhupada gives this example, and again I like making a reference to this Prabhupada's gross, practical example. It says, if you put an iron nail in fire, the nail, which is an iron, gradually acquires the qualities of the fire. So when the devotees, when Krishna makes himself available for the devotees, not only does he please the devotees, but the devotees have expedited purification. That is environment. Krishna is a field. And so when his devotees come around him, and they get a lot of purification, and their happiness, their bliss is amplified. And so, in a similar way, the holy name is very much not different from Krishna. And if we associate with the holy name in a proper way, we can also become expedited in our purification. And sometimes we get too busy. We don't have the time to read the scriptures. But it is important that we also find the time to read the scriptures. If even it's just some few minutes. Because the scriptures, they are not different from Krishna. The books, Bhagavatam, literally incarnation of Krishna. And so the process of devotional service to become endeared to Krishna is simple if we don't make it complicated. And so anyone can take to this process of becoming a lover of Krishna. Krishna makes the sacrifice to come on this planet. And See, the most painful thing is that even some Indian scholars, they refer to the Vedic teachings as mythology. Krishna appeared, he had pastimes in Vrindavan, and someone says mythology. What is this bogus hogwash? So some of us will get pissed off with this type of scholarly attitude towards the Vedic literature, because I have seen in a number of cases some of these great scholars, they tap information from the Vedic literature and then modify it, and then they say, this is my theory. Now in academia, if you get some idea from someone, you should make a reference. If you don't make a reference, it is a violation of academic integrity. And Western scholars do this all the time. They go to the Vedic literature, get some, raw information, and then come to polish it, conduct some experiment, certify that information. This is my theory. So, at least they're reading the Vedic literature, which is good. If even they are committing violation of academic integrity, it's okay. And the Bhagavatam is so enriched. If you want to become a politician, read the Bhagavatam. If you want to become a good manager, read the Bhagavatam. If you want to become a good leader, read the Bhagavatam. So the important factor for us is that we should see ourselves as like this Kim Purusa, residents of Kim Purusa Loka, and even Prahlad, how they see themselves in comparison to the Lord. And we are insignificant. Bhakti Swami says that the false ego is the greatest enemy of the spiritualist. So we can break out from all types of sinful desires, but this phenomenological mindset of thinking we are great, we are great. I've been emphasizing this for the past days. We are great. We are the greatest. Everyone else is just a bunch of nonsense. Now the Kim Purusas, they don't think like that. They say, we are completely nothing. But it doesn't mean that, we say, okay, I'm nothing. And then you sit down there for someone to come and push their fingers into your eyes. No, it doesn't work like that. So in most cases, we misconstrue the information or the teachings of the Bible literature, and then we can create some self-harm. So the whole idea is that we are humble. We accept in principle that the Lord is great. We are very significant. And there is no need for us to be proud because we are devotees. The temptation is there. When you realize that nobody else knows what you know, and you are on the path, way back to God, everybody else is pursuing some religious doctrines, but either they are pursuing religious doctrines based on the worship of some mortal beings, because even the demigods, they are mortal. And the tendency is there, this temptation is there to condemn them. But even Lord Krishna mentions in the Gita, we should not do that. Yeah, Krishna condemns the worshippers of the demigods. But we are not Krishna. Yes, Prabhupada, the child says is the scientist. We are not Prabhupada. It's so easy to imitate. Huh? Prabhupada would chastise the scientist. I remember one devotee in Mayapur, one elderly devotee in Mayapur. He was a Mayavadi sannyasi. He met Prabhupada and he challenged Prabhupada to an argument. And he said Prabhupada defeated him woefully. Woefully. So he became a follower of Prabhupada. He's late now. When he was giving me this story, he was in his 80s. Right? So Prabhupada changed him. Prabhupada argued with him, defeated him, but not with the intention of just, demoralizing him and, making him feel a non-entity. Prabhupada may chastise somebody, and he would do that with love. And that's why the people, even that he defeated and chastised, they became his followers. In most cases, we don't have that type of endogenous love for people. We want to argue with people, we want to condemn them and to show them, oh, I'm greater than you. Just nothing. So this type of mindset, you see, the intention is what matters, because our intention is what constitutes the radiation of the energy we create when we interact with people. And so a good lesson to learn from Prahlad and the King Purushas is that they're authentically humble, they're genuinely humble. Genuine humility is what invokes the mercy of the Lord. No matter who we are, if we are genuinely humble, Krishna will create avenues for us to be able to reach out to him, no matter the challenges we face. So yes, Krishna came to kill the demons, but he doesn't necessarily need to come to kill demons. With one tsunami, he can wipe out the whole demons. One tsunami, he can wipe out the whole demons. So then the whole idea is that he came to be able to give pleasure to the devotees. So in our own daily relationships, are we giving pleasure to the devotees? We should ask ourselves. Or are we agitating the devotees? If you are a family man, are you giving pleasure to your family? Or are you agitating your family? If you are a husband, you should ask yourself, are you giving pleasure to your wife and your children? Or you are just exercising your Ishvara Bhav. Ishvara Bhav has caused so much of distraction on the planet. People have gone to jail because of Ishvara Bhav. So, you see, it is always good. There are 3 levels of knowledge. One is the theoretical or the conceptual framework, or the other is the contemporary commentaries of that very framework or model or theory. And then the third is the application. We have so many paratologists in our movement. We have so many paratologists. You know what? Who is a paratologist? Hey, Professor, you know who's a paratologist? The parrots can repeat words. If you teach a parrot something, they can recite it even they don't understand. They can recite it perfectly well. I remember when we are kids, like, grade 3 or so, we are required by our teachers to memorize the whole of the timetable, 2 times 1, 2, 2, like that. We didn't understand what it was, but, it's called rote learning. And when you are required to recall those information to apply in solving the problem, because it was rote learning, you just forget. It evaporated. Just come over here. I'm not carrying guns. So, Ikon Purusas are exemplifying humility. That's the point. That is, we cannot say that we are perfect. Immediately we think that we are perfect. That is a phenomenological mindset. That is a demoniac mentality. By phenomenological mindset, I'm referring to what you call a demoniac mentality. That's what about. We don't use demoniac mentality in academia because because it's too derogatory. But Krishna used these words, but we are not Krishna. So, important thing is to present our philosophy in a way that people can digest it and feel free to associate with the devotees and imbibe this culture and be able to practice. If we go out just trying to condemn everybody and label everyone, put this person in this box and that box, it will be difficult to catch up, especially with Westerners. Yeah. In India, in a Vedic culture, the spiritualists, they go about, debates. And they win you, and then you become their disciple. Here, if you go to the street and you try to, condemn people or debate with them and, put them down, no, you become enemies. So we have to appreciate what they have, give association, like the Lord came to give association to the devotees, and walk in ways that will help to leverage society, leverage the people you encounter in your daily activities, in your workplace, in your communities, whatever. This knowledge is so great, it is the source of relief from all anxieties. And it requires humility. Suppose your child does something really silly, offensive. Yes, tell me, what will you do? You. Yes, my host. Your child does something really silly, offensive. First thing, what will you do? Or what have you been doing?
It depends on what my consciousness is at that time. So I can give different answers. I'm in a good, wholesome space and I can be compassionate. That's why I was doing it. But if there's other space, I could react.
Yeah, the general tendency is that, especially parents are highly humble. Parents are highly humble. Because we think that the children, they are just our objects of toy and they should not make any mistake. And if they don't act according to our projections, then they are in trouble. We just does it. But here is what Krishna says. He said, time to teach the strawberry. That doesn't apply to us? Or doesn't apply to our children? No, it does apply to everybody. And especially, so we are talking about Krishna consciousness, community development, but the community begins with the family. So what we don't find in the family, if we don't have genuine humility in the family, in our interaction with our members of the family, how are we going to be humble outside there? People really need to be humble in our relationship. If a family member says something, a child says something nasty, or does something nasty, we should realize Krishna's postulation. I tell you a story. I was in Laguna Beach some time ago, and they invited me to give the Swami class. So just after the class, I've not even gotten up from the asana. Somebody came to me to report and said, the gentleman, he told me what he did to the daughter 8 years old daughter. And here is what happened. He said he came back from work one day, talking about genuine humility. He came back from work one day, and for no apparent reason, he started raining all types of abuses on his 8 years old daughter. He told us. And then he said the girl was quiet all through, very quiet. Because the girl could just call the police and he goes to jail. Based on what he did. The girl was very un-American. So he finished all that, all that his mind impelled him to, and went away. The girl did not say anything. Some days had passed. He was happy, the girl was also happy, they were eating, and then she raised the issue. Papa, you know the other day you came back from office, you did this to me. Did you have a fight with somebody in the office that day? 8 years old girl. She said that. I said, hey, stop. Call the girl here. So he brought the girl. So I begged the girl on his behalf, on behalf of Prabhupada. And I told him to pay obeisances to her. So he did. And the girl also paid obeisances to him. They got up and then they hugged each other. And I told him, listen, some of the children, you may be thinking that you are the boss. And you can do it. This is not the attitude of the 8 years old child. That approach is what we call the management science. That is a strategy used in resolving deep-rooted conflicts. How can this 8 years old girl, by biological evaluation, 8 years old girl, shouldn't imbibe that strategy and display it and apply it in cases like this? So, the point is, if we're genuinely humble, we can avoid being offensive to even our own children.
Mother, would you like to clarify? Would you like to clarify the definition of humility, because there have been so many misconceptions about that. Humility could also mean just let other people or your children or your parents or whatever role it is jump over you, and that should be okay.
Yeah, humility, in essence, in terms of, so I can give you one basic, I can use this explanation to clarify this point. You know, back to Swami, he taught us that whenever there is a conflict, it also is, this is also there in some of his books. He said whenever there is a conflict, the superior should accept a humble position and apologize to the other party that I am the cause of the problem. I'm sorry. Please tell me the best way to handle this type of situations in the future so as to create a better loving relationship. Now, this is, in most cases, very difficult for people. Even to get a feedback, people refuse. I've encountered people like that who come to me and tell me, well, how can I have a better loving relationship in my family, my children, my wife? And I tell them, all right, when you get back home, sit your wife down and ask her, what are the things I'm doing in this family that you don't feel comfortable with, that you think I should adjust to create a better loving relationship. And you know, this guy, he told me, Maharaj, if I ask my wife this, she will bring a whole long list. I'm not talking about Puran, I'm talking about what just took place on this planet just recently. Yeah. That's not humility. He came to me, he told me, he was a fan of Bhakti Swami. And all of a sudden, he left. He is devastated. And he told me, can you be my Shiksha Guru? I said, well, I can do that. So we had a rapport. And then when he was to leave back to his station, he came to me to say, I should advise him what to do to create a better loving relationship in his family. He had 2 young kids and a young wife. So I told him this. And then he objected. This is called feedback. It requires humility to do this. Humility is something. The family humility requires that we need to ask for feedback. Humility in the teens means we need to ask for feedback. Because I ask for feedback from my own disciples. See, I have one disciple when she was in medical school. Manchester. At that time, she was just 19 years or so. She wrote me saying, Maharaj, in my relationship with you, I do not want any middle person. 19 years old. If you have any instruction for me, you send it to me directly. No middle person. So I said, so, for us to think that, or for us not to consider what other people want in the relationship, that's not humility. If we are only after our expectations to be met, that's not humility. And if we're just thinking that I'm always right, my way or the highway, that's not humility. See, when I deal with people, I like to play a safe role. For instance, if we are in a team, I will ask, what is the best way to do this? And if you suggest, I will take a suggestion. If there's something wrong, I'll say, this was your idea. If something is good, then you get the praise. But I don't want to get into trouble with people, you know. Because if someone gets hurt, whether you believe it or not, you get some karmic reaction. So humility is a broad-based concept that has multifaceted definitions. People can't even pay obeisances when they go into the... Some people, they cannot pay obeisances when they go into the temple. That's not good. See, we were listening from some of Prabhupada's disciples during the 68th arrival of Bhagavatam. And someone was mentioning, one of Prabhupada's disciples was mentioning one of Prabhupada's servants. He pays obeisances every year. He comes for Prabhupada to pay obeisances. He's living to pay obeisances. Like that. That's it. Then another person, another disciple, he did something. He paid obeisances very roughly, and Prabhupada chastised him. So, the concept of humility within the family is very challenging. But if we remind ourselves how everyone is part and parcel of Krishna. Krishna told Arjuna in the Kagavahansha that those who claim to be devotees are not those who are serving devotees. They are authentic. They are the soul. So you can say, why? Our children, they're just little kids. They don't know how to. But here's 8 years old girl implementing a strategy for resolving deep rooted conflicts in relationship with the father. So is there any need to be proactive when we're dealing with our children? Yes. If we are reactive, we don't know who is who in our family. We don't know who is who in this book. If we are reactive, we can be honest. And we get into trouble. So back to your question, notice what it brought us. Then we can take step by step towards that concept. When something happens, first of all, we need to be proactive. That has to teach us from Bhakti. Then we can lean back and then lean forward again to be able to process it. Any other comments?
As you said that the seniors or those who are in the leadership roles, they should ask for feedback. That is humility. And
It takes humility to ask for feedback.
yeah.
Otherwise, you could just think, I'm fine.
But it happens
I cannot be wrong, Who can tell me anything? Yes.
But because of that Ishwara Bhava or Asuri Bhava, sometimes those who are in the leadership position, they don't take feedbacks and they don't rectify themselves. And as it was mentioned, the purport there, I was thinking that it is not just the disturbance by the demoniac activities of the non-devotees. Sometimes we get disturbed by the demoniac activities of the devotees. Demons disguised as devotees. Means we think ourselves pure devotees or very elevated devotees or senior devotees, and we start creating disturbance in the devotees we are taking, in the life of the devotees we are taking care of. So can you elaborate on servant leadership?
Yeah. Thank you. A number of people think that they understand servant leadership, but no. In fact, if you ask for most managers or people in position of power in ISKCON, and I'm saying this as an authority in leadership, because my PhD is in management and leadership. If you ask for most people in ISKCON, you ask them, people in position of power, you ask them what's the leadership model that you're using, they don't have any leadership model they're using. It's anything goes. See, we are not Raja, what you call? Huh? We are not Raja Rishis. Okay? So we need feedback. We need consultation. Servant leader is one who listens. Servant leadership is a model, one of the models, leadership models, and is one of those models they use in managing faith-based nonprofits. Managing faith-based non-profit organizations like ISKCON. And it's a whole detailed model. Books have been written on that. And so the servant leader is like Prahlad. It's like the king process. They feel they are very insignificant and everybody. Like, king People will provide for the needs of his members of his constituency before he provides for his family and for himself. So, to be a servant leader is not juicy. In fact, to be a leader is not juicy. Even to be a parent is not juicy. You get 1/6 of the reactions of your dependents. So sometimes I see people, I know one of my friends, he's very, he openly would tell me, it's like asking for vacancies for places that I should recommend to. Yeah. Now, one of the things I intend to tell my friend is that you should go and apply to be a guru. I deal with a lot of people, and I'm malleable, okay? I'm adjustable. So I adjust myself and then get along with anybody. It's not that all my friends are Paka. No. So, to be a servant leader requires that we treat everybody the way we treat we see everybody as part and parcel of Christian's representative. That is the bottom line of service. Even your child. To see your child, it doesn't mean that you should not parent your child. Especially, rearing children is so tricky. Because from age 1 to 5, there's a way to deal with the child. From age 6 to 10, there's a way to deal with the child. From age 11 to 15, there's a way to deal with the child. From 16 up, there's a way to deal with the child. In Europe, one temple, so I was speaking on some issues relating to family development. And then I was asking some of these devotees that. So, before you got married, did you take some courses on? I was asking one boy. Before you got married, did you take some courses on women's psychology? He said no. I said, "Why did you?" She said no. Okay, I said, okay, now the two of you are together and you're experimenting on each other, committing offenses against each other. And when you have children, also you'll be doing the same thing because you don't understand anything about child psychological development. So we have a problem in this world, and it's not just ISKCON. In the whole world, we have a problem. The nucleus of society is the family, and we have mathematics and English as a compulsory course, but the family issues, no, we don't. We have mathematics and English as a compulsory course. You must pass this before you go to university. Now, there's no provisions. We don't give, attention to the family. That's why there are so many disruptions, especially in America. There are so many family disruptions. So, and that if people adopt that servant leadership, people can better understand and live together. Just like as soon as we begin to think my way or the highway, someone breaks rules.
As you were mentioning in the previous class, with power, instead of when the power or authority position comes, instead of becoming humble, because of that issue about we start exploiting. So when we come to ISKCON, we are a small devotee. After some years, we think we are a senior devotee. And then our humility just remains in words. I am servant of your servant, but not in action.
See, I remember when I was president that was in Africa before I came to the US. You know, I'm a rugged guy, so you come to tell me, or Vasudeva, I got some devotees come to tell me, oh Vasudeva, oh wow, how can I serve you? I asked, really? He said, yes. I said, all right, come here, follow me. Let me engage you. And then I got to engage them for some, for some service, some gross labor work or something like that to clean up something. They said I was just joking. I've seen that. So yeah, the mid services. That's a good observation. Yeah. So there is this tendency that in the beginning we can be humble. When we get the knowledge, we are developing Krishna, are developing our values in Krishna. Then we should really become more humble. But no, we have also anatas, weeds that are growing along as we are developing the Krishna. So those weeds, they choke our devotion to Krishna. The creeper of humility is being choked. And so we begin to experience all these type of anomalies that one would hitherto not expect from the seniors. So yeah, that observation is very correct. And how to deal with this is that we should personally evaluate self-evaluation. You see the things that we know that there are certain things we do that we shouldn't do. And sometimes we privately regret about those type of habits. So we should make some analysis, self-evaluation, and make some type of concerted efforts to improve. There is nothing wrong in having some faults, but we should also make some concerted efforts to improve. So how to do that? We should pray. Because sometimes some devotees also think that you cannot pray to Krishna for help. Whom are you going to pray to Krishna? I mean, whom are you going to pray to for help? Krishna mentioned that whether you're full of desire, you don't have any desires, you're liberated, whether you're not, you should come to Krishna. He opens his doors. So I pray for Krishna all the time. I remember when I was doing this program, this course, when I was doing my PhD, I was doing this course of statistics, quantitative reasoning analysis, and statistics, PhD level statistics. It was so difficult. And before I read the textbooks, I would pray to Krishna. Krishna, I don't know anything here. Please help me out. And it worked. I got A plus in that course. And there were about 10 or 12 PhD students who did that course. Everybody else failed. It was so difficult. So, Mother Kunti, she makes a lot of prayers. And Mother Kunti also prays for the challenges to come now. Well, if we have our type of mindset, we can pray for that. I don't have Mother Kunti's devotion and mindset. So I pray according to my level. I pray for Krishna to help me in my devotion. I ask for problems to come because I already see so much problem. And even I don't pray for problems to come, I will see problems anyway. Yeah. I think any other comment or questions? Yes, Prabhu.
I was just thinking, hearing you, definitely your expertise is in conflict resolution as well as seems like Chinese psychology as well. So, would it be possible for us to kind of continue maybe to the evening and maybe have a dedicated session on Chinese psychology
did study child psychology. I did some of those works long years ago. And what basically happens is that I see so much anomaly in our societies. And that's why I take the time to be able to do some study programs on those issues. My discipline is not in psychology. My master's was in education and philosophy with a major in philosophy. Would you like to kind of speak on that? I have a computer program today. I have to give a class to a German audience at 12 o'clock. And my health is not so good, so if I give many talks, it weighs on my energies. So maybe next time.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine. Now coming back to this verse, I was scratching my head a little bit on this one because none of this I'm able to extract from the words that we are insignificant living entities. And therefore, how can we offer suitable prayers? This coming from the word is, however, just the inference of the fact that the supreme controller, therefore, in relation to the supreme being and insignificant.
Yeah, the Jiva Prahlad, I meant also some reference to the fact that Prahlad also prayed to Lord Shingadev that he's a Kripana. And Lord, he said, Prahlad's words, he said, you are back to Vatsala and I'm a Kripana. So help me out. I am nothing. So the point is that if this is a symptom of, or this is a typical case of genuine humility. And if we understand that the Lord is so great, we are just 1/10,000 the tip of the air. How can you compare that? 1/10,000 tip of the air. That's our position. Yes, so that is a reflection of that philosophy that we are 1/10,000. Okay, we have to draw the curtain now. Was it 10? 9:23. Oh, so Papa gives 20 minutes. I know most of you in ISKCON, you don't like that, but Prabhupada gives 20 minutes lectures, okay? So we already more than an hour, a little bit, or an hour also, which is okay because it's not really so ideal to talk too long. The brain has the capacity for retention. And if there's no other comments or questions, we may have to adjourn this meeting. Do you guys live around here? Yes. Thank you. And you too. So, Srimad Bhagavatam. Thank you very much, Param Rupa, for enabling us to do some
Maharaj, it's our pleasure.
service.